Welcome back to the Dr. Mary Travelbest Guide podcast. And today we're talking about Niagara Falls, Canada. So that was on my trip. It was a 90-day journey around the world. And today I want to connect with you and talk about some things that you might need to know for travel. I'd also love to hear from you, so let me know what's on your mind. Now for the quickfire FAQ. Dr. Mary, why does the price of an airline ticket seem to change every time I look it up? And what's this about Delta using artificial intelligence to set prices? Should travelers be worried? Hey, thanks for that great question. Let me give you the answer. Airline ticket prices have always been dynamic, meaning they change based on demand, how full the flight is, when you book, and things like that. But now, airlines like Delta are taking this to the next level using AI-driven dynamic pricing. So, next level. In the past, airlines used fare buckets or price categories. And once those were filled, the next level was the more expensive one. Pretty predictable. But now, Delta is testing, and so are the other airlines. They're looking at AI pricing that can adjust fares many times a day, even minute to minute. So it's going to be based on data like booking trends, competitor prices, and time of day. And they plan to roll this out across a large percentage of their routes. And this means the fare you see in the morning could be higher or lower by the afternoon, even for the same seat. Now, what they say is this is going to help match supply and demand more efficiently, and claims it's not using your personal data to set individual prices. But as a traveler, you may have concerns. Prices are becoming less predictable, and it's harder to know the best time to buy. Some worry it's a slippery slope toward unfair and opaque pricing, where people might pay more simply because the algorithm thinks they will. Is this predatory pricing? Not in the legal sense. Delta isn't selling below cost to drive competition out. It's more about using AI to maximize their profit from each traveler. So what are you as a traveler to do? You can use fare trackers, you can book early, and when you can, compare across multiple sites. That human touch, that's you. Your research and timing can still beat the algorithm sometimes. Now, if you like this confidence challenge about airline ticket and pricing, check out my book. It's A, and I'll talk a lot about how to save money on airline tickets and more. So now let's get into Niagara Falls. Solo, soaked, and spectacular. We're going to dive into the thundering wonder that is Niagara Falls from a solo female traveler's lens. And yes, I got a little wet. On the road to the falls, I took the FlixBus from Toronto to Niagara Falls. The ride is scenic and comfortable, even with a bit of drama. My Toronto Metro train broke down in the morning. I had to get off and wait for a new train, which added a lot of stress. But I still made it to Union Station with a few minutes to spare. Assigned seats on the FlixBus? Yes. But when I first got on the bus, there were only 6 of us. Then they picked up more at the airport. Niagara Falls is hot, humid, and it's packed with tourists in the summer. But the moment you see those Horseshoe Falls, it's all worth it. There are 3 waterfalls here: Horseshoe, American, and Bridal Veil. And the Canadian side is definitely the star. I hopped on the Canadian version of the Maid of the Mist. You'll get soaked, especially your socks and sneakers like mine were. But you'll also get rainbows, misty selfies, and memories that stick. A little side note, I had a sore little toe, so I MacGyvered it with a Band-Aid and masking tape. That's solo travel resilience. And a good impression was the Queen's Palace, and I had a delicious ice cream there. They had free water refills and restrooms that were clean. Nearby, there was a hidden park. Secret. Yes, it's called the Secret Garden. So if you have some extra time, you can spend that here relaxing in this nice grassy areas. Now, the hotel section of the falls left an impression, not necessarily great. It kind of reminded me of a touristy trap like Las Vegas. They had the Hard Rock Cafe, the Sheraton, the Rainbow Forest, lots of kids and games. I really wouldn't want to stay here by choice. And there is a free bus that takes you to and from the parking lot where FlixBus and other buses congregate. There is some walking though, so if you're not up for that, you'll want to stay closer to town. It's flat, that's a good thing, no hills. There are lots of seniors there too, so expect to have some special needs taken care of, but it never hurts to ask in advance, especially if you are needing special attention. Now, a few things that I want to suggest. First, the Niagara Sky Wheel. It's an enclosed Ferris wheel with views from above. It's great if you want the drama without the wet socks. And I've got links for notes of all of these things. But I took the journey behind the falls. I talked about the maid, the mist, and they give you a poncho. So that's not a problem. I would do that first thing. So go beyond the falls. There's also the botanical gardens and butterfly conservatory. It's peaceful. It's got flowers. It's shaded. It's ideal for avoiding tourist fatigue. But they did close early, so I didn't get to go in except from seeing them outside. And then there's also the Dufferin Islands. It's a short walk from the main attraction. And then there's Niagara on the lake. It's a 20-minute shuttle or bus ride to this little charming town with wineries, boutiques, and calm waters. So if you want a reset after the tourist crush, check out Niagara on the lake. So are you thinking about crossing the border? Well, not so fast. The Rainbow Bridge offers a walkable path into the U.S., but beware, the return customs line can stretch up to 2 hours, and it was sunny with no chance of getting a shorter line. It could have been 2 hours, and it did cost money to walk across. You need $1 exact change or $1.25 Canadian dollars. So I passed on this border walk after seeing what the difficulties were. I didn't want to risk it. Instead, I explored the touristy side streets. I peeked inside some of the hotels and restaurants and walked around and spent some time in the secret garden. Now, you're going to meet families from all over the world. I met families from Stuttgart, Germany, and they had their matching, customized USA tour shirts. It was kind of cute, 4 kids and parents. A couple from Madrid, Spain, they were drying out their wet sneakers with me. And I met a nice, kind woman at the bus stop. We talked about travel, quality control, and how the world feels like a global village at Niagara Falls. We also talked about things like the company Airbus. It was really interesting. So even the staff and service workers in Niagara Falls were top-notch. They were kind, helpful, and global in nature. A few final threads of advice. Take the morning FlixBus from Toronto and return early evening. I would have caught an earlier bus. And this will be mentioned in a minute here. Wear quick dry shoes or bring extra socks. Bring extra change for the border if you want to cross. And just expect a lot of chaos because in the summertime, there's a lot of people. But if you go in the winter, I think it might be quieter and more relaxing. It feels a little bit like Vegas, arcades, zip lines, light shows, and things like that. But if you focus on the natural wonders, it's going to become more meaningful for you. Here's my misstep. Okay, I had a couple of them. I almost missed my bus due to a breakdown. I mentioned that earlier. And then I had to wait for the 6:30 bus. I should have had the 5 o'clock bus. And then lastly, I lost my ticket for the journey behind the falls. I had it in my hand, and then all of a sudden it was gone. It was pretty windy, I think. So I had the receipt for the ticket, which they let me use for my entrance. So don't lose your ticket like I did. And now a little bit on resources roundup. If you're looking for more solo female resources, you can find several tips and ways to navigate the pitfalls with all of these episodes of my podcasts. There's over 320 episodes over 8 years, and I've got a book series for you. So check out the books, listen to all the podcasts, and I'd love to hear your questions. And then I've got a bonus a free tool. Try the Flighty app. That's right, Flighty, Flighty. Try it out. You can put in your flights and travel in the app, and that will remind you of where you've been. It counts the miles, the flight information, and gives you a visual of where you've been, and there's no fee. So my takeaway here, go and find peace where you rest and bring goods and good to others. You can travel solo and never be alone.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travelbest, that is.